Welcome back, design students. In this video, we're going to make the background scene for our penguin. And as you can see, I've imported some pictures here and placed them so I could copy the shapes. This one I already did. I just took the pen tool and traced this iceberg shape. I also created a layer called Scene, in which I'm putting all these shapes and images. Here is what I Googled. I just Googled Arctic iceberg, found a couple of interesting pictures, and then you copy them and just paste them in here. So I'm going to show you how to do this one. I'll zoom in on it a little bit. I have it selected now, so I'm going to come over here and lock it so I don't move it by accident. Then I'm going to get the pen tool and I'm going to start to trace it. And I'm not going to worry about making curves at this point. So now I have this basic shape, and I'm going to push escape to turn off the pen tool. And then I'm going to select my new shape and delete the border. And then I'm going to get the direct select tool, or the sub-select tool, and I'm going to begin to convert some of these points to curves. I'm going to convert this one to mirrored and then disconnected, so I can pull that out like that and pull that in like that. And actually, I think that I'm going to make this transparent, or the fill transparent, so that I can see the shape through it a little bit better. And let's take this one and convert it to disconnected. Pull that in like that. Now see, when I try to convert that to a disconnected straight up, it doesn't give me any handles, so I need to do that and then that. Now this curves up a little bit here, so I'm going to add a point by clicking on the line where it's empty and pulling that up a little bit like so. That way I can make it go up and down again. This one has been dragged all the way down here. I don't want that. Not going to worry about these. This one I'm going to convert to a curve, so I can pull that up like that. And maybe do something like that with it. Okay, so I'm going to fix the fill. And then I'm going to fill it with another color, but before I do, I'm going to drag it away. And I want it to be lighter than this one, so I'm going to fill it probably with a color that looks kind of like that. So I'm going to get the eyedropper and fill it with that. Then I'm going to bring this in here in the scene, select it. I'm going to make these not visible for the moment. Make this smaller. All right, so this is supposed to be further away than that. That's the idea. Oops. You just kind of have to play around with the look of these things to get it to look like you want. All right, so we've got these sort of Arctic icebergy shapes in the background here. We need a background sky gradient now. So I'm going to click away from everything so I have the background fill available. And I'm going to fill it with a linear gradient. But before I do, I'm going to make my pictures visible again because I'm going to sample these sky colors. So I'm going to select the background fill. It's going to be a linear gradient. And I'm going to rotate it so that the darker color is up top because that's the way it looks. And I'm going to select the black color and get the eyedropper and sample this color. I hate how it just doesn't respond sometimes. And I might try this other color here. Let's see if we can see if this looks any better. And now I would like to make a white shape that is sort of snowy and put it right behind him here. And I think I'm going to copy this shape. So I'm going to zoom in on this one, and I'm going to lock the picture, get my pen tool, and I'm going to try to make this sort of a smoother, moundy snow shape. And I'm clicking and dragging to make these points like this. Push escape, delete the border, and I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to try and put it in the background so that it's like the whole background. Actually, let's copy this. Hold down Alt, flip it, and just overlap these two like so. And I could take this one or this one, pull it on top, and give it a drop shadow. I don't like that. So there you have your penguin standing on the snow with Arctic icebergs in the background. So here's the final product. You can see I did a couple more things to the icebergs here. This was really interesting, I thought. For this one and this one, I added an inner shadow. And for this one, I added an inner shadow and made it white so it looked like it had the sun shining on this one side of it. And then I played around with the blur and the opacity and the X position you can see here. This one, I actually added two inner shadows, one white and one black. So I could make a shadow on one side and a highlight on the other by manipulating the X position, the Y position, and the opacity and the color and the blur. So that's an interesting thing to play around with. The snow flow here I copied 3 times because this one had to cover the bottom of the page. It was actually a different color. And I added a drop shadow on it so that it sort of highlighted, looked a little more 3D here. So this is how you make the penguin. To export your finished composition, you would go to File, Export, JPEG. And when you export it, notice that only what is on the artboard appears. So it doesn't matter if your background elements or anything overlap the artboard. So this video's gotten a little long. What we're going to do in the next video is I'm going to break down the other animal characters for you and just basically show you how they were made and show you what techniques were made using them. And I'll see you then.